Hey All Heart fam, MK here, and we made it to Tuesday, which means we got in a couple days of easy running to get the blood flowing and help with the recovery process after a tough Sunday Church of the Long Run. Haven and Evan are off at school, and I've been gathering my thoughts over the weekend after writing a bunch of training plans for my All Heart athletes. I write individualized weekly plans for my athletes based on each athlete's experience and skill level, as well as his or her performance from the previous week. And although all of those training plans are individualized and tailored specifically for each one of my athletes' physical and mental needs, in addition to his or her life schedule, they all follow a basic training philosophy when prepping for a marathon. So today, I'm going to share with you all Introduction to Marathon Training as part of a series for a complete guide to marathon training. Let's go. Types of run training. There are 5 types of run training that I will refer to during this talk: easy, marathon, threshold, interval, and repetition. For a marathoner, easy running will make up the largest bulk of training during the week. Easy running is between 65 and 79% of max heart rate and develops our aerobic base as well as resilient bones, ligaments, and tendons. We should be able to carry a conversation running at this intensity level and also be able to spend a good amount of time on feet, up to 2.5 hours. Marathoners also need to practice a good amount of marathon pace running, or what a lot of shorter distance runners call gray zone running. This is training at 80 to 88% of max heart rate, so we're really pushing the intensity to the highest level of fatigue without seeing the really punchy benefits of running at intensity levels like at threshold or interval. But for marathoners, the benefits of practicing at this pace far outweigh the cost of fatigue, since we can develop a great deal of comfort and run economy at race pace by spending more time running at this range of speeds at marathon pace. Threshold training raises the intensity to 90% of max heart rate and is the main contributor to building endurance. It is the training intensity that pushes just to the line when the body produces lactate faster than it can be cleared, and it is this ability that will help us navigate the very tough efforts between miles 17 and 23 of a marathon. Interval training raises the intensity even higher to 98 to 100% of max heart rate. This extremely high level of intensity develops aerobic power, or speed, at VO2 max, and can significantly increase fitness level, resulting in the most noticeable shift of all of the training types towards faster speeds. And we can definitely use speed at VO2 max in the last 2 to 3 miles of a marathon race. And finally, repetition training is the fastest type of run training that develops anaerobic power and top-end speed. Marathoners benefit from this type of training because of the resulting significant improvements in running economy. 80-20. So you've probably heard a lot about the 80-20 rule in distance running, which states that 80% of our runs should be at or under aerobic threshold, and only 20% of the volume we run should be faster than that. So what does that mean when it comes to the training types I mentioned earlier? Well, during any part of training for distance running, whether during a base build, a speed build, or a marathon build, in order to avoid injury while making the most progress as possible each week, we want to limit our weekly volume at threshold training paces to 10%. And for interval training paces, we want to be a bit stricter and limit our mileage at these paces to 8%. And finally, for repetition training paces, marathoners can spend up to 5% of weekly volume. So, for the rest of those weekly miles, or around 80% of our weekly volume, we can run at easy and marathon training paces. Limiting marathon training paces to 20% will keep the fatigue at a digestible level to continue training hard in the following week. Remember, it is the accumulation of work over many weeks that contributes more significantly to a positive race outcome than any single workout or group of select workouts. So we definitely want to avoid getting too tired from a monster, let's say 22-mile marathon pace run, for example, that would cause us to miss out on several days of training in the following week because of the several days of recovery required after such a gigantic effort. Easy run training will dominate your weekly schedule in the form of recovery runs on the day or days following a hard workout, as well as during warm-ups, cool downs, and even recovery floats during hard workouts. Weekly plan. After a base build during which you can establish a weekly mileage to train at, you can begin planning your marathon training program. Depending on how invested you are and how much time you've been able to pour into your base build, you can decide on how long you would like to build out your marathon training program. Most people like to use a duration as short as 12 weeks up to a block that is as long as 18 weeks. And remember, prep for your marathon at a consistent weekly mileage. Whatever volume you are able to consistently stay at for at least 3 weeks during the base build is the mileage you want to train at for every week during the marathon training block until the taper. If you add mileage while increasing intensity during the marathon build, you run a much higher risk of injury than if you were to keep the mileage consistent. So, if you're able to get to 55 miles per week for a few weeks in a row during your base build, then train at 55 miles per week every week until 3 weeks to go during the marathon training block. Structure your week based on what your life schedule will allow, as well as based on the limit guidelines for the training run types. The long run at the end of the week will likely be considered a hard effort, especially as the marathon build progresses. So Monday and Tuesday could focus on recovery. For example, Colin uses the day after his tough long run to get the legs moving and the blood flowing on his 9-mile easy run at 7:37 per mile. He's able to kickstart the recovery process by facilitating circulation through the legs and damaged tissue so that DOMS, or delayed onset muscle soreness, isn't as bad when it hits its peak on the second day after that tough long run. Then on Tuesday, you can follow up with another easy run to complete the 2-day recovery process. Wednesday and Thursday can be workout days during which you can do a combination of interval and threshold training, followed by Friday and Saturday, which again will provide recovery in the form of easy running. And finally, you can go long on Sunday with a mix of easy, marathon, and threshold training to run up to 150 minutes total. Hey, don't forget to add in the warm-up and cool-down miles at easy training paces during the workout days. Also, don't forget to add in the repetition training in the form of 100-meter speed reps at faster than mile race pace on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And always do up to 3 to 5 100-meter speed reps before an interval session or a threshold workout to loosen up the legs and get the blood flowing. Individualize your training program by focusing on the lowest hanging fruit or your weakest area so that you can get the biggest return on investment from your hard efforts. And prioritize weekly volume as the highest priority, with long run, threshold, interval, and repetition as the next highest in order of highest priority to least. And you will be well on your way to working toward building your distance running fitness and crushing your next marathon goal. Don't forget to be on the lookout for how to structure workouts for the different training types. We will make separate videos for marathon, threshold, interval, and repetition, as well as for the base build. As we upload the videos, we will update the links to those videos in the description below, and we will add a playlist of all of these how-to videos for the ultimate guide to marathon training at the end of this video once we get that playlist started. Hey, if you're interested in joining our All Heart Athlete Development Program, then send me an email at allheartrc@gmail.com to get program details for individualized training plans and book an initial consultation. Looking for a spring destination marathon? Then search no further. Join us at the Big Island Marathon in Hilo, Hawaii. Use code ALLHEART for 20% off at registration. Hope to see you there. Got Instagram? Then check us out right over here for your daily dose of running and life motivation. Thanks, Cole, and thanks so much to you all for all the love and support. You can find us right over here on Strava to check out all the stats for all of our runs this week, and go ahead and join our Strava club by searching for AHRC, where you can track your position on our leaderboard and see announcements about meetups and races. It's fun and good for your health. So much gratitude to the best Patreon team in the whole world, without whom we cannot do any of this. Love you so much. That's gonna do it for me. I need to get this girthy talk back to my business partner, Cole, so that he can get to work on this episode. Cole, Haven, Evan, Wilbur, and I hope you have a great day and a meaningful run. We'll see you in the next one. All right, bye now.